Hey, just gonna start doing a quick video on the next set of mods for that guy, which I mentioned, I think, somewhere in a previous video. But while I'm waiting for the parts, which I was hoping to come today, but they should arrive tomorrow, I know I'm going to need to modify these pieces here, which I basically carefully trimmed off with X-Acto knife. I just carefully just rock this and cut it and try not to cut more than I needed to and damage it, but mainly the part that I need to keep clean is this edge right here, because that's gonna be on the outside, and most of it's going to be covered on this end because of this piece, but at least that part of it right there, the main section of the door, trying to keep it clean, and that's what's going to show up on the bottom. Well, it's going to be kind of mostly covered, I think, by the door. The door actually, surprisingly, look how thin that door is. Actually, I was thinking, wait a minute, if it was this thick, like, I wouldn't see that much of the edge as much as I can see it even on this black one, right? So it's basically gonna show up about as much. So I think I did the measurements, put the pieces side by side, and these pieces actually come close to that, and the main surface areas or edges. Yeah, and these parts, yeah, it's kind of rough. Sometimes it's hard to keep the blade even as I'm cutting it, shaving it down a little bit, whittling it down, because I cut off, leave a little bit. There's usually a bit of a ring or edge or little bits left around the hole here, and that's unfortunate just because these parts, the stud are actually hollow, they kind of come up and there's actually a space behind them. So I kind of knew that when I went into it, although for some reason I thought they would actually be smaller. I was thinking maybe they would be like that hole, that size, but I guess that is the same thing. Anyways, I'm going to take some, I think I'm going to try to maybe wet sand it a little bit and just smooth it out. Make it look not as rough, at least along this side. But most of that is going to be covered by the door anyway, so I'm not too concerned about it. And I'm never really going to display this thing with the door open like this. I don't display my car models like that. I don't have no minifigures to be standing kind of like posing with it as it's getting in or out of the car. So yeah, that's not going to matter too much. It's mostly going to be closed, and you're just going to see the nice part of it on the outside. Yeah, I'm looking forward to showing you like the mod I came up with. I was going to ditch this idea because the parts originally that I was thinking I was going to use didn't turn out to work the way I wanted to. They're just the wrong dimensions, and the pieces that I thought was going to fit together don't really match up correctly, but I figured out what to use. And also, in the end, I ended up thinking, well, I was going to cut these bottom hollow ones out too. And then I started thinking about it. You know what? Do I need to? Two things. Do I need to cut them off? And secondly, I was worried that, okay, even if I could use this, right? And they're going to be basically butt up against each other like that. Under here, it won't matter so much because, again, these other, sorry, allergies, sorry, my sniffling. It's covered by these panel pieces on the side here anyways, for the most part. Not that big a deal. Hold on a second. I got a whole day work without sniffling, and I get home and night it happens. Anyways. So they butt up against it, but the corners are a bit rounded. You see that? And like those pieces, I showed this in the previous video, they're actually straight cut. So they actually butt up pretty nicely and cleanly. Fortunately, this has this break here, and if you can imagine, trying to put these in, well, it'd be roughly, it's actually one stud short. It's actually, the entire piece across the bottom is 7 studs across. This is 8, so it would actually be shorter by 1, but you get the idea. So these were basically, of course not. It's kind of hard because these guys have that little bottom stud. But anyways, so I was thinking, well, even if I could line this up, imagine they're lined up perfectly. You get the idea. You still see those little divots, right, where they meet, right, because it's rounded. And from a distance, you still see them. It just break up the look of it a bit. So even if I could get that under there, that part of it bothered me a little bit. And then I started thinking, okay, well, these studs in the bottom, one, do I have to cut them because that's extra work, and that's still kind of a little bit of a pain in the butt. Try not to mess up the parts while doing it, as well as don't overcut it also, and don't jab the point of that into the supporting finger that's holding your piece as I'm trying to slice down with this hand. Don't want this razor to go underneath like a fingernail. Yeah, sorry about that imagery, but it can happen if you don't being impatient and not careful with how you're applying the force and the direction that you're doing it at. Sorry, I'm trying to show you something here, but what I discovered was actually, and I don't have a piece here. Do I? Or maybe I can pull one out. I think I have one nearby. This doesn't matter, but these two parts, or most of this, the three parts will be underneath here, but you still might see a little bit of that. So to mitigate that, to try to smooth that out, I think, do I want to glue it and then find some way to fill it, or sand it down so it's actually more straight across? But that's going to be a pain in the butt to do it evenly and nicely, and make sure it's not one side that's cut in or more than the other, and the angle. Don't want to deal with that. And also, I'm going to shorten the surface area, so it's going to be recessed into towards the car more, which may not be that bad, but I don't want to really reduce the amount of body that's kind of sticking out. So my solution is, or will be, should I show it with the plate or these pieces, which essentially will get. Let me get the piece here. Hold on. Yes, the colors doesn't match, but imagine these are the same color, which they will be. I got one that's going to be. I want to get as long one uniform piece, because what I want to do is use these tiles as the bottom of the skirts. It adds a little more body, because one thing I noticed is that you see it's rather thin on the bottom. You see that? It just looks kind of cheap, and I don't see any body kits that have like an edge that's flat and thin like that sticks out. So I want to add some body to it also, and there's just enough space in there to get something like this on there. So this will illustrate better what I'm going to attempt to do. They only make these in even numbers. I wish they could do a 5 and a 7, or bestly a 7 across, but I can't do that. And the best is, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's a 6. There should be a 6. And I think I'm going to cap it with the 1s. Just try to get this as one continuous piece, because I want an edge. And what I'm going to do is stick basically these on there. But if you imagine that's all yellow too, that basically will add body and straighten out the, kind of take the attention away from that edge or that divot there, and you might focus more on the bottom heavier edge more as the finish thing. Let me do something here. So that's the idea, and then it's going to fit on the bottom of this. Well, not all the way to the ground, but you can see it's going to add just that bit of body to the bottom. And if you want to see how that looks like in yellow, hold on. Yeah, it's not, I put one of these pieces on the bottom, but imagine that isn't gone. Otherwise, the thickness of this piece is approximately the same as these over here. So it's going to look something like that. As you can see that in yellow. And I think from a distance overall, I think that'll work on the bottom. And again, this will be covered up, so you're not going to see these holes. Unfortunately, yeah, there's nothing you can do about that. Again, the door is mostly going to be closed. I was thinking of just filling it in, but why bother? It's not going to be seen. I'm just going to care about the main aesthetics out here. And so yeah, as you can imagine, that's just going to fit yellow and be a bit longer, like 3 more studs across, because it's again 7 long along the side here, and I think that's going to work. So yep, looking forward to getting those tiles in here so I can do that, and that should be done. Yes, I think there's something else. Oh, there is one other thing that I might do. I like using the black. I painted the other set that were the bronze set that were like those that originally came on the Civic EF. I swapped over, right, the white ones that came with this onto that, because I think that looks better, and it's got the blue accent. Yes, it's not the same blue or aqua color as the Civic. It's the body, but close enough. I think generally still within a bluish family, and they're so small, but the main thing is that I think these in white along with this particular kind of color is sportier than, I don't know, I just didn't like the bronze with this color. It looked kind of not that good. And I would say the same with the NSX, to be honest. It's not my favorite to use bronze with, I think, red. I think this would look better if it was black, or definitely white even works better. Yeah. But it is what it is. I don't think I'm going to repaint this because they have the Rays logo on there, and these are nice actual metal wheels, and like those are all plastic, so I don't care as much about it. I mean, I could paint it, but then I'd lose the logo. But who knows? It may actually look better. But I'm fine with it. I'm going to leave that for now. I'm more curious to maybe improve the side skirt as well, but you can see it's stacked underneath some stuff here, so unless I can figure out exactly what will work, I don't want to bother digging this thing out from under here to deal with that just yet. So going back to this, yeah, I got this. These are basically ready to go. I got the extra, so one of these would go at the end, but I don't worry about the studs on these because they need to attach to these pieces that are out here anyway, so they'll go over the studs that I just cut off of here, but they won't be cut off of these pieces and whatever. Oh, wait a minute, do I need to do 6? Oh crap, that's right, I do. Well, I guess I'm not quite done, because while I'm trying, well, I mean, I could theoretically use 3 of these instead of 1 and 1 of these to make the 3, but I think I would rather try to do one more of these because I'm trying to avoid breaking up even though that's the tile that's going to go on the bottom, so help mask or take the attention away from how these look like when they're butted up next to each other. Getting that little gap or something will break right there. That's why I don't want to make 3 of them small pieces there, because then you see more of those than you need to. So I think I did order some extra one of these, cut those down, and then put them in there. And well, anyways, yeah, that's it, I guess. I lost my chain of thought, but hopefully by sometime tomorrow I'll have all the pieces modified that I need to, and I'll swap everything out in here. I'll try to show the process so you get an idea what's happening here. I didn't really show what I did, only the before and after of how I modified this part, so it's not black on the bottom like it came. But I like that more, because it doesn't make any sense to me for that to be black on the bottom, as well as the actual die cast and stuff does not even show it black like that. It's just more continuous, and it'll be even more so now because there's nothing I can do about that. I don't think I want to get in here to change. That's a pretty specialized piece, I think, inside there for the door hinge. I'm not sure if Lego makes something specifically like that. I don't know. That's something I don't think I might be fine not tackling, because it's like, okay, that's the door hinge, but you know, seeing that there's no purpose if I can change that. And so as I think just making this all yellow on the bottom, so that it kind of doesn't physically do it, but it will kind of visually still look like the yellow from this area will go onto the skirts and continue like that, instead of, I don't know, just that black. It's sporty, but kind of breaks stuff for me. I think it'll look better on yellow. So we'll see that soon enough.